Alright guys, in today's video we have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and discuss. Before we dive into today's topics though, do me a big favor, hit the like button to help this video out and show it your support. It helps more than you know. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. The first topic we're discussing is specifically the PlayStation 5's SSD when combined with Unreal Engine 5. We have a developer coming out and saying that they believe this is going to lead to some big changes in level design. This is something obviously that we've been talking about since we knew about the PlayStation 5 and specifically Sony deciding to opt in with that very over-the-top SSD speed, right? And at first it seems like people were confused as to why Sony decided to do this. Mark Cerny came out, let us know that, hey, this is pretty much future-proofing in terms of game design and game development. And so we once again have another developer here kind of backing this up. So this is reading from Gaming Bolt, and it says the PS5's SSD has been one of the console's biggest selling points, with Sony and various other developers having often talked about the ways it will aid and bolster game development. Another developer who's excited about those prospects is Pete Bottomley of White Paper Games, game designer on the upcoming mystery adventure title Conway Disappearance at Dahlia View. Speaking in a recent interview with Gaming Bolt, Bottomley said that the PS5's SSD, especially when combined with what Unreal Engine 5 will enable developers to do, will allow for some big changes in the future to level design in games in general. There's a dual approach we can take advantage of as developers, not only with the faster SSD, but also in combination with Unreal Engine 5, Bottomley said. When you're creating the larger 3D games that we tend to design at White Paper, streaming the content for the player and knowing how to approach the design of the levels to get them to the most optimal performance takes a lot of time. With quicker loading times, you have less need to design features into loading screens along with the streaming of the content at runtime. Unreal Engine 5 removes the need for this side of development and instead chunks the content under the hood. I think you'll see some big changes to level design with these two upgrades in the development pipeline. So obviously, it's worth noting he's not just referring to the PlayStation 5 here. You have to assume that to some extent, he's referring to the Xbox Series consoles as well, which we know also offers a very well-performing and very fast SSD. But again, we do have to acknowledge that this is where Sony not just doubled down on, but seemingly tripled down on. That is having this insanely fast SSD. And I don't want to spend too much time on this because we've talked about it before, but for anybody who, may still be doubting, which I think more people at this point might be doubting because we're not seeing anything that's really doing anything too intense, right, with the PS5's SSD. But you have to understand, as we have talked about before, it's going to be Sony's first-party studios that really push the limits, and it's going to take some time for them to be able to do that. But make no mistake, this is something that developers have continued to reiterate. For those who maybe doubt why Mark Cerny went with the SSD and tripled down on it, look, I understand that it's kind of a joke at this point to some people where it's like, yeah, the magical SSD, it's not so much about that, but it really is going to enable some significant changes down the line. And we are still hearing developers, back this up and let us know about this. And in this case, they're specifically talking about it being combined with Unreal Engine 5, which a lot of games are going to be made in Unreal Engine 5, and it's going to be very interesting to see how exactly they take advantage of the SSD speed inside the PlayStation 5. So I just wanted to take a few minutes here to let you guys know what this developer is saying about the PS5. It's always great to hear from developers when they're talking about the console and, what it will be able to potentially achieve down the line. Moving on to the next topic, though, we're talking about something that I am very much excited about. And I know that not everybody is, but I think this is going to be one of those situations where a lot of people are feeling on the fence about it or just not really looking forward to it. But once we see it, their minds might change and they might end up being more excited for it than they ever thought they would be. That is talking about Naughty Dog's standalone multiplayer game. We have a little bit of an update on this title. I've been waiting to hear something official about this game. Not that this isn't official, but maybe get a glimpse of it, get an official update from Naughty Dog. It seems like it's going to still be a little while before we do. But anyway, This is reading from Push Square, and it says, "What is Naughty Dog cooking? For the longest time, we thought that The Last of Us Part 2's standalone multiplayer mode would be a bigger budget version of the SOCOM-style competitive shooter it shipped with the original game, and we imagined that we would be playing it by now. But it's been well over a year since The Last of Us Part 2 shipped, and we haven't heard anything about the developer's online project. In fact, it sounds like it's still pretty far away." Naughty Dog is continuing to recruit heavily for the game. Open positions include everything from programmers to designers. It was also hiring an economy designer not too long ago, suggesting this will be a full-scale service game with regular updates. But comments made by co-game director Vinit Ardwal have caught our attention. "We're aggressively hiring," he said, of the firm's hiring spree. "Apply if you want to be part of bringing the cinematic experience between players in our new standalone multiplayer action game." The sentence is awkwardly worded, but he appears to be suggesting that this online game will retain the studio's core storytelling values. Exactly how that's going to work in a multiplayer landscape has us scratching our heads. Naughty Dog never does things by halves, and it had already warned us that factions had taken on a life of its own, but frankly, we're struggling to imagine what this is even going to be. So I don't fully understand how Push Square is struggling this much to imagine or understand what this is going to be. It's already been confirmed by Naughty Dog themselves that this standalone multiplayer game is based in the world of The Last of Us. Okay, that has already been confirmed. What's interesting is they're saying that, the idea of Naughty Dog, trying to bring that cinematic experience between players into this multiplayer game, that has them scratching their heads. I think it's becoming fairly obvious what this game is going to be. I could be wrong, but everything at this point is pointing to a shared Last of Us multiplayer world. Basically, a MMO light, I guess you could say, for The Last of Us, where there will be PvE, there will be stories that you can play through cooperatively, there will be factions, obviously, there will be PvP as well, where you can play other players, and maybe there will even be like a battle royale mode like we talked about. But to me, what this developer is saying on their Twitter, the co-game director, I think that this is the most telling piece of information we've received so far, outside of finding out that this will be a full-blown standalone multiplayer title based in the Last of Us universe. The idea that they are going to bring that cinematic experience, in my opinion, it's obvious that this game is going to have some form of co-op. I guess they could do some type of cinematic experience where it's not really a co-op game, it's still very much just a PvP game, but to me, it's difficult to imagine exactly how they would pull that off, but I'm sure they could if they wanted to. One thing that people are focused on with this, though, is seeing how many positions they're still hiring for, and the fact that they're going on a hiring spree. This has people worried that this game is years away. I can't say for sure whether that's true or not, and to be honest, looking at this, it kind of does give you that vibe, right? That like, okay, we're not going to hear about this game anytime soon, but we do have to understand that just because they're hiring for all these different positions, we have to understand they're hiring for a service game. So there's a chance that, this is just to kind of bring on more people that can maintain the game once it's launched and continue to add more content to it, while the main core team at Naughty Dog, when they basically are finished building the core product of this game, right? Like the core of it, of what it will be and how it will play. You know what I'm saying? So like, you're going to have the main team, they're working on it right now. They could be in the final stages of, getting it ready. And right now they're looking to hire a bunch of people to be able to basically maintain it. That's just my theory. I don't know if there's any truth to that. This game could very well be years away, but either way, I'm so excited to see this game, because the more I hear about it from whether it's Naughty Dog developers or little hints they give through their job listings, it's very clear to me that this is going to be bigger than I think anybody had anticipated. And because of that, I really want to see, like, is Naughty Dog going to be able to nail this? This is a huge risk that they're taking, in my opinion, because people expect, single player narrative driven experiences from them, not standalone multiplayer titles. So I think this is going to be a big moment for Naughty Dog, and we'll see if they'll be able to pull it off. But either way, I'm very much looking forward to it. So I wanted to give you guys this update, but we're moving on to the next topic, which is something that I don't know that I believe this, but I saw some people talking about it and I saw a few articles written up about it, so I wanted to be sure to cover it. You guys can make of it what you will, but this article from PlayStation Lifestyle says PlayStation's breathtaking games trailer suggests that Gran Turismo 7 and Ghostwire Tokyo may be delayed again. While Sony may not have made much of an appearance at Gamescom this year, they have put together a new trailer showing some of their upcoming titles, called Breathtaking Games. The trailer shows just a few of the titles coming to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 within the coming months. As is normal for Sony, they've included release windows for them. However, while most have gotten dates that can be as vague as 2022, the release windows are missing from Ghostwire Tokyo and Gran Turismo 7, perhaps suggesting these games may have been delayed again. Now, obviously, we won't know if that's the case. We have no way of knowing if these games are being delayed internally again, but what I will say is that I don't think you really need to worry too much about this. The reason why I say this is because the last time we heard about both Gran Turismo 7 and Ghostwire Tokyo, it was for a delay, and both games made it clear that we're going to release sometime in 2022. They didn't give any release windows, as far as I'm aware. They didn't give any specific dates. And so to me, the reason why they're not putting anything here is just because they haven't decided when exactly they're going to be ready to release their games. I do think it's a little strange. I would obviously want them to put something, even if it's just 2022, but the implication that these games are being pushed to 2023 seems kind of ridiculous to me. I want to say there's no possible way that could happen. I mean, maybe with Gran Turismo 7 that could happen, but even then it's like, you know, I don't foresee that happening, and therefore I'm not going to look at this as any type of potential indication that that's happening. I'm just going to say that it's because they were recently delayed and they haven't really nailed down their specific window yet. That's my assumption. I could be wrong, but these are two games that we were expected to get this year. They're being pushed into next year. It would be absurd if they were pushed any further than that, in my opinion, because, you know, even if it's GT7 comes at the end of 2022, we're still more than a year away from that point. So I'm not sitting here thinking that these games are going to get delayed into 2023, but I just wanted to take a moment to cover this because, again, I saw some people talking about it. So we'll have to see. You know, it's difficult. It seems like Sony is going to be giving us some type of update, hopefully in the not too distant future. We'll have to see if we get updates on GT7 and Ghostwire Tokyo. Moving on to the next topic, though, I do want to let everybody know that another game has been significantly enhanced for the PlayStation 5, this game being Little Nightmares 2. The update isn't just for the PlayStation 5, it's also going to be for the Xbox Series consoles as well, and Bandai Namco did confirm that this update will be free for existing owners, and it's offering a pretty significant amount of enhancements here. We're looking at ray-traced reflections, which obviously will add greater detail to the environments as shiny surfaces, give off of live reflections. Meanwhile, volumetric shadows have also been added. This is soaking objects in more depth and more detail than before. In addition, console players can get the beauty mode or performance mode depending on their preference. Beauty mode sees Little Nightmares 2 running at 4K resolution at 30 frames per second, while performance mode is locked at 60 frames per second and dynamic resolution up to 4K, and rounding things off are immersive audio and interactive particles. So a pretty, significant update here for Little Nightmares 2 if this is a game that you already played but you want to go back and play it on your next-gen console, or if you haven't played it yet and you do own a next-gen console, you will be able to get the enhanced edition. So there you go. Moving on to the next topic. I'm a little bit late to this one, but I had to cover it because it seems to be the first time we can say that there is a PS5 game that includes not 4K, 8K super sampling. So yeah, this to me isn't that big of a deal because I don't really know how many people actually own an 8K screen. I think pretty much no one does, and so I don't think that this is going to matter, but in my opinion, it's a good way to get people to talk about your game. So this is the game The Tourist, and it's going to be releasing on PS5 and PS4 on September 9th of this year. The game will come with a range of performance enhancements for the PS5 version of the game, including 8K super sampling at 60 frames per second, as well as options for 120 FPS at 4K resolution. The PS4 version of the game, meanwhile, will clock in at 1080p 60 frames per second. The game will include cross-buy, which means if you pick it up for one console, you'll automatically get it for the other. Sony used to do this with a lot of PS Vita and PS3 games back in the day, and so obviously it's always nice to see that. But I had to take a moment here to cover this and be like, hey, look, Sony does slap 8K on the PlayStation 5 box. They technically can, and this is why, because we are seeing a game that can hit that 8K super sampling at 60 frames per second. I mean, you look at this game, it's obviously not a very demanding game. It's not surprising to see why they are able to hit 8K. And so, you knew it was going to happen, right? You knew it wasn't going to happen with any big AAA game. You knew it was going to be with indies. And so here we go. We're seeing The Tourist hit 8K on the PlayStation 5. But moving on to the next topic, we're talking about Salt and Sacrifice's online multiplayer. This is a PlayStation console exclusive, and apparently the multiplayer is more expansive than just co-op. This is a game that actually looks pretty good. I've heard good things about the first title. And so Ska Studios' first indie hit, Salt and Sanctuary, is in the same realm of Hollow Knight, as a 2D game that took the Souls genre and gave their own twist on it in an entirely different plane. And the sequel, Salt and Sacrifice, looks to improve on its legacy with PvP, PvE, and co-op online multiplayer. It was a feature sorely missing from the original, being able to play online with friends, so Ska Studios went even further with the suggestion to add online co-op and have included PvP modes and PvE modes you can jump into if you choose. So I just wanted to take a moment to let you guys know about this, because to me, this is pretty significant. I know that there's a lot of people looking forward to this game, and so it seems that a lot of people were under the impression that that's all they were going to do is just add co-op, but they took it a step further. Salt and Sacrifice still doesn't have a release date, though when it does arrive, it will be a PlayStation exclusive. At the end of this overview, which is a video you can watch from the Future Game Show, I'll have it linked down below, they do mention an early 2022 date being possible. But obviously it's not set in stone, so maybe we could say between January and March. But yeah, this is a game, as I said, I think a lot of people are looking forward to, and so, some welcome news here. Moving on to the next topic, though, we're talking about Timothy Knight's a noir-styled action-adventure game. This is the latest PlayStation 5 exclusive. Apparently this is a title that just dropped. So once again, reading from PlayStation Universe, for any PlayStation fan concerned about the fact that Horizon Forbidden West has now been officially confirmed as delayed until 2022 with its new February release, there will still be plenty of PS5 games, and more specifically PS5 exclusive games like Timothy's Knight, developed and published by WildSphere. If you've ever thought it would be a fun time to mow down aliens with a classic 30s style Tommy gun, then you're definitely not alone, because so did the team behind Timothy's Knight, fend off an alien invasion, all while exploring this noir-style town called Little Fish City. It continues by saying the few items that are colored in the game really pop, and it all serves to make this stylized animation work very well to create an impressive image. What's more is that by the looks of the trailer, it is just as fun to play as it is to look at. So, according to the developers, they've taken great care to really utilize the DualSense's features, implementing almost 200 different kinds of haptic vibrations. So definitely something worth pointing out here. This article started by highlighting the fact that, yeah, it is disappointing that Horizon Forbidden West is delayed into next year, but I think what people don't realize is there are a lot of smaller titles, as well as games like Deathloop and Kenna Bridge of Spirits, that are releasing all before the end of the year. So, games like this, they're not getting as much attention because they are smaller. And yeah, I gotta say, I'm always impressed to hear when smaller developers are taking advantage of the DualSense, let alone 200 different kinds of haptic vibrations. That's definitely impressive. But if you're interested in this title, it's out right now on the PlayStation Store, so maybe go check that out if you're interested in it. But we're going to move on to the final topic, which is talking about potentially some new information on Grand Theft Auto 6. It's hard to say if this information is for GTA 6 or if it's actually for GTA Online, but still, it's been making the rounds. So voice actor Dave Jackson has apparently confirmed one of the first Grand Theft Auto 6 characters in the shape of police bigwig Captain McClane. Jackson took to his Facebook page to share the following message with fans. He says, "So, I just found out from the producers that it's official. I will play the role of Police Chief Captain McClane in the new Grand Theft Auto series. I didn't have the heart to tell them that I didn't really have the time for it. Yep, someday I will take a nap. I know it. I just know it. Seriously, it is a privilege to work with such a professional and fun group of folks. If you are a gamer, stay tuned." It's worth noting that Jackson's wording of GTA series, not GTA 6, which could suggest it's something else, such as content for GTA Online. When asked about this on Facebook, he revealed that Rockstar is producing a trailer, so I hope it's GTA 6. And that's a very interesting response. I mean, it very well could be possible that he's playing a role for a character and he literally has no clue. Is this going to be for GTA Online? Is this going to be for GTA 6? If you think about it, he actually doesn't need to know this information. He just needs to know that it's part of a storyline in GTA, and this is the character he's playing. They absolutely do not have to share which title this is for with these voice actors. So I don't think he knows. And so, we're going to have to find out. I want to say that it's most likely for GTA Online. He says that they're producing a trailer for it. Apparently that much he does know. I'm going to say it's for GTA Online, maybe some new stories that'll be available at the launch of the next-gen version of GTA Online and GTA 5. That's my guess. So I just wanted to take a moment to cover this. GTA 6 is many years away. I don't think the Rockstar is producing a trailer for it right now. So yeah, that does it for this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. Again, if you did, leave it a like, subscribe if you're new, leave your thoughts down in the comments below, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.